So I'm about to play you a clip here that I think proves how unserious the U.S. media is. Now, I picked this clip for multiple reasons. Number one, at face value, it might appear like we should like the clip because it's Fox Business Network going after Chris Christie. So that's one of the main reasons I picked the clip here, because you would normally think, what? Fox is beating up on Chris Christie? I thought you'd love that, Kyle. No, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Now, another reason I picked this clip is that this is the same narrative that other media outlets are pushing as well. So this is Fox Business doing it here, but you can find this same narrative pushed on the nightly news and CNN and everywhere. So let's watch it, and then I'll come back and explain exactly why this shows how pathetic U.S. media is.
Me saying, but see this image, as God is my witness, Chris Christie's Mike Dukakis moment in a tank. To Byron York, who says it could be worth 1,000 words. What do you think, Byron?
I know. Well, let me ask you. I mean, this was Governor Christie kind of jumping up and down in joy as the Dallas Cowboys, his team, won their playoff game. He was in the owner's booth. And let me ask you, does that look really presidential to you?
No. First of all, because of the Dallas Cowboys. No offense to Dallas, a wonderful, fine city. But I don't like grown men doing this type of thing. That's just me. Yeah, I just don't.
I totally agree with that. And I do think that this is not the most serious thing in the world, but if Christie does run for president, there is going to be a lot of talk about a temperament issue. He is an emotional man. He will tell you that.
Here's the issue. If the U.S. media was even doing its job a little bit, the angle to the Christie story isn't that he got excited while he watched a football game. No, the issue is that he's sucking up to a billionaire to get money for his campaign when he runs for president. And the issue is that he's already done dirty, backroom, corrupt deals and special favors for that billionaire. I mean, again, Chris Christie even passed a bill in New Jersey that said that politicians shouldn't go in private boxes with their donors. And then he does exactly that. But since he's in a different state, he acts like the principle changes and that he's not corrupt and that he's not essentially buying into this system of legalized bribery. So look at what they're focusing on. They're focusing on the surface non-issue in question here. They're trying to make it seem like that's the scandal. The scandal is that, oh, Chris Christie's acting unpresidential when he smiled and hugged somebody because he's watching a football game and he was excited. I could not give a flying fuck about that. Because keep it real, if you see Bernie Sanders watching a football game, or you see Alan Grayson, or you see Elizabeth Warren get excited as they watch a football game, a baseball game, a hockey game, a fucking curling game, I don't give a shit, because that reflects absolutely nothing on the policies that that person is in favor of and how they would affect my life if they had a position of power. That's not the issue. But they made it the issue. They made it the issue because they don't want to talk about the serious issue being our democracy is no longer a democracy. Our democracy is now an oligarchy or a kleptocracy, where you have this political class, this elite class, and they have to raise all their money and get all their money from the billionaires and from Wall Street and from the corporations and from the people who really run America. So they run to those people, they ask them for money, they take the money, and then when they get elected and when they get in office, they do their bidding. Now, you might say, well, Kyle, that's no guarantee that these people are going to win. Wrong, because if you look at the numbers, it turns out that over 90% of the time, the politician that raises the most money ends up winning. And why is that? Because the American voters don't follow these things with all their nuance and complexity, and they don't look into all the nooks and crannies to find out exactly what's going on. They'll see ads on TV for certain candidates, and they'll buy into the smear campaigns that they see. So therefore, whoever can buy the most ad time on TV to bash the other person, and whoever can get their name out there the most, they end up winning. And that's almost always the person who raises the most money. And to go one layer deeper here, understand that the media is the beneficiary of this corrupt system. Because again, all the money eventually comes back to them. in ad buys. So you have a media that's totally disincentivized from doing their job and telling the American people the facts. And of course, the facts are that your politicians are not representing you. They're representing the people who are giving them the money.